exercise moderators' prerogative and sort of make the assumption that print, in fact, is not dead. That we have not only our organizers, Graze magazine, who just launched a print publication, just a little over a year ago? Yeah. And then Marszewski, too, just about a year ago, launched a new print publication, Mashtag. Mara, of course, works for one of the oldest alternative weeklies in the country, and even if they've undergone this really interesting rethink of what they're doing online, they're still wed to real-world hard copy print. And then I think even Joe and then Charles, in terms of the work you're doing, if you're breaking bounds in terms of what the print industry looks like, you're still wed in some ways to the old business models or formats, and those frame part of what you're doing.
And this all speaks to this bigger mission we're trying to accomplish, which is use web to grow print, use print to grow web, not let any of them take away from the others, and then start to really differentiate what each of those things do. I don't like to think that you can ever achieve with a website what one could achieve with a printed product you hold in your hand, and that printed product, in my mind, should never ever go away.
Lumpen taught me, through doing Lumpen Magazine Monthly for a while, taught me that you have to use every single form of communication possible to amplify whatever the message is. So we used cable television, we made pirate radio stations, we used the web, we used print, we had all different types of options, and then we created actual physical spaces like this so we could have these conversations. To me, you could use everything as a distribution device, distribution tool for whatever your ideas or whatever your obsessions are, whether it be easy listening culture or tearing down the big system.
But the only reason print has not gone away completely right now is not because publishers are emotionally attached to ink on dead trees. It's because the business model for digital is not fully formed. It's because in the publishing world, it's one of those few ventures where we actually, the consumer does not pay 3 times what it costs to make the thing. We actually give the thing away, and some third party, i.e. an advertiser, pays for the freight for it. And those advertisers do not want to pay what they have traditionally paid in print for digital, because the first thing you do when you see a digital ad is you click out of it, and they know that. So they're not going to pay the thousands of dollars that they paid in digital, that they paid for print for digital. And
do you think they're right about that? I mean, it's interesting. It's the same way you want to skip over an ad in a newspaper.
It is different though. Yeah. In the print experience, the advertising really is part of the experience, and you accept it as part of the experience. You are not quite as annoyed by it as part of the experience. We sell it as part of the experience when we sell it. That's why we're able to get asked so much money for it. In digital, particularly websites, it is not. It does not feel like part of that experience. It's an intrusion. You want away from it. You are annoyed by it. Advertisers know that. They don't want to pay for that. They still pay for print, and that's why people hold on to print, and that's why print is holding on.
I think video is another way that people, we get our readers telling us, that they don't just want the story. They want everything. There are people out there reading to the last paragraph who do want sort of the beginning, the middle, and the end. They're still out there, even on Huffington Post, where I think people think of Huffington Post, and I say I work from there, and they'll be like, "Oh, how about those nip slips?" And I'm like, "Yep, nip slips, kittens, we've got it all." But we've also got longer stories. We've got original stuff. It's not just aggregation. And what we really try to do is find some of the buried leads in the Sun-Times and the Tribune, or what are our questions as readers of all these other publications that we feel aren't being answered or aren't being addressed in the same way that we might be interested in. So we really try to approach our stories from that.
I think that people will be rapidly print in a way they're rapidly vinyl.
Exactly.
Vinyl.
Absolutely.
So I will never print the records everyone else can stand. Every time we move, we are going to have crates of LPs to go with us.
And then the music industry says, vinyl be damned, and vinyl go away. Except for those people who really collect. And so you have a small group of people who continue to collect vinyl, and vinyl continue to press records, and that, those folks are catered to I think the very same thing could happen to print, but who knows? We're all,
But the key thing is, you mentioned, everything is niche media.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing you can pull away. So if you're a producer, editor, writer, whatever, find your niche, go ahead and publish in any platform, and just try to work it. That's your best.
Right, that's one way to do it. What hasn't been done out there, or how can you do something differently? And as Charles was saying, bring people into that space.